we can say what we want. Let's hear about what Darko said about Ben Taylor and his officiating crew last night.
Thank you, Doug. That's outrageous. What happened tonight? This is completely BS. This is shame. Shame for the referees, shame for the league to allow this. 23 free throws for them, and we get 2 free throws in the fourth quarter. Like, how to play the game. I understand respect for all stars and all of that, but we have star players on our team as well. How's possible that Scotty Barnes, who is all-star caliber player in this league, he goes every single time to the rim with force and trying to get to the rim without flopping and not trying to get foul calls. He gets 2 free throws for the whole game. How's that possible? How are you going to explain that to me? They had to win tonight? If that's the case, just let us know so we don't show up for the game. Just give them a win. But that was not fair tonight. And this is not happening first time for us. Scotty Barnes is going to be all-star. He's going to be the face of this league. And what's happening over here during whole season, I've been holding it back. It's a complete crap.
Wow. First off, shouts to Darko, because this rant really resonated with me on a deeply cultural level, because when my parents got really upset and English was their second language, grammar just went out the window and it just gained in intensity. So I mean, part of me, I'm like mortally like a little bit shook after hearing that. But
I mean, to that point,
I'm happy Darko went there.
I'm thankful if he's heard our early season criticisms of him, he's taken it in stride, because I don't want to face that version of Darko.
No, here's the thing. Darko's been super nice and whatever, but he's got that fire. And I think that's what that showed to me. Obviously, this is something where, you definitely have the organization's backing when you come out like this, because you're going to catch a fine, and Darko's going to get some kind of fine.
He'll get $25K. Ime Udoka got and Taylor Jenkins both got $25K earlier in the year. That's kind of the precedent for your first one. Yeah. I think almost certainly he's going to, especially if there is, and I don't know if there were, the feds were at the game or whatever, but he continued that rant in a more profane way after the cameras went off.
Oh, yeah.
Per multiple reporters who were in the room. And if anyone's audio caught that, or the league caught wind of that, that is also probably going to be a part of that. So I think he gets a $25K here. But yeah, people have his back. And
by the way, we don't need to crowdfund this. The organization will take care of this. It's not going to come out of Darko's pocket.
They'll make way more money than us. Look, in seriousness, I thought, rant aside, that's cool. I think that shows a good thing, a good level of getting your players back. I think that, certainly on Twitter, it seemed to resonate with the fan base and their feelings about this. And look, last night was not just a Raptors thing. Like, do you know how hard it is to make a 76ers fan empathetic to another team? I had a friend who was a 76ers writer messaging me being like, this is the worst jobbing I've ever seen. Even the Lakers broadcast on the Emmanuel Quickley flagrant was like, what the heck, man?
What happened to the game I love?
So it's not just that. Putting the actual poor calls aside and the free throw disparity aside, I came away from last night thinking that Darko handled this all extremely well.
I agree.
He has been pretty calm on the sidelines, kept a cool demeanor. Last night, if that game unravels and it's a 15-point game or something like that, absolutely I could see him getting attacked, maybe even getting tossed to make the statement. But he towed that line, and there are a couple clips where at timeouts or after calls, Ben Taylor's getting the glare.
Oh, yeah.
He's getting a real
we saw
look.
that Darko glare yesterday, man. My goodness. The screen caps around the world right now.
Close game. You don't want to give away a point on a technical foul. You don't want to remove yourself from the sidelines in a close game. I thought he did a good job, towing that line, expressing the frustration, but not overstepping. And, this is only going to affirm this to the locker room, because Darko had their backs after the game. I think a very difficult thing, especially as a rookie head coach, especially when you haven't gone through that many situations like this as a team, there's a frustration there. Scotty is frustrated. The guys on the bench are frustrated. Darko's frustrated. That did not affect their play at all. They didn't start whining dramatically. They didn't start foul baiting. They didn't make emotional mistakes on the other end. They stuck to it and played through it, and we're just like, look, okay, we're playing in ankle weights, but we're going to do this, and we're going to try to pull that out. And I thought, so the combination of Darko being able to keep his cool on the sideline and stay on the court, the players staying very, very composed through that, and then Darko having their back after the game, I think is only going to feed into that, where there can be this level of trust now that, like, hey, let's play through it. There's nothing we can do about it in the moment, and I'll have your back afterward. I think that could be a good galvanizing moment for Darko and the core of this team. I thought he handled it extremely well through the fourth quarter and through the end of the game.
It was really impressive that Darko, in a moment where he knew he's like, I'm about to go viral, it was one of those things. And in that moment, he also added in Scotty Barnes as an all-star twice.
Scotty Barnes.
It was a great job by Darko, honestly. And yeah, I totally agree with you. You don't want to cost your team any more points. You don't want to give them another reason to call technical fouls and things like that. Yeah. Did you last thing on this? Did you have a favorite call? Missed call?
No, I mean, the quickly one is the one that probably I have more of an issue with letter of the law versus spirit of the law. I know why they want to legislate out guys being a little careless with their elbows or whatever.
But was he careless with the elbow?
No, it's a basketball.
He had it like tucked.
And like the explanation that, like, well, he was moving too fast. Like, yeah, he's very fast and trying to score.
I don't like, by the way, the camera panned over and there was an official that went to go talk to quickly afterwards. It wasn't Ben Taylor because, he doesn't talk to players.
Ben Taylor was terrible tonight.
Ben Taylor doesn't talk to players. Was one of the other two guys. And the official was going over and demonstrating to quickly. And the official had his elbows out, like, off to the side, like, at a huge angle. And that's not what happened. It's not like quickly, like, did a huge clear out. What I described post-game was, like, they were acting like it was Meta World Peace versus James Harden from back in the day. No, like, whatever. It's that was called a flagrant, but when Pascal gets undercut mid-air, on a play that was not on the ball, that wasn't a flagrant call.
That was the transition one? Was it Torian Prince?
Torian Prince undercut him. There's just a number of these decisions. Even Thad Young got really upset. And honestly, Thad Young played his heart out yesterday. We're going to get to that in just a second. But, like, there was a play where Scotty threw a great pass to Thad Young rolling to the basket. And Thad Young knows, I'm old, I'm washed, I'm not going to dunk this ball. I'm going to get this shot up as quickly as possible. Torian Prince is beat on the play, puts his elbow into Thad Young's back on behind him, and in front of him, Austin Reeves comes over late with the rotation, undercuts him, and then trips him so that Thad is now falling over. Help, I'm falling over. I can't get up. Sorry, Thad. And then the other way, AD gets an and one in transition. And you could tell that Thad was complaining about that call for the next 3 possessions while playing solid basketball. But it's just like instances like that just screwed you over and over and over again. The Scotty Barnes game-tying 3, which was ruled out by the RJ moving screen when AD moved 1 feet and just like somehow his whole body exploded.
And it's a tough one because, like, by letter, it's probably a moving screen, but also Anthony Davis flopped. Like, usually, like, it's and you just don't
every
see
marginal
that
contact for the Lakers a foul, but every sort of physical body movement for the Raptors
even Bill
not a foul.
Simmons had the back of the Raptors yesterday. Like, hey, sometimes 29 calls in a row don't go your way.
Yeah.
It's not, and then the only other one, like, I meant to look this up in the rule book and see the exact language. I forgot, so I'm sorry. But the Jared Vanderbilt, this isn't goaltending for touching the rim on a shot, but it's a technical foul for hanging on the rim. I assume their interpretation was like similar to pass interference in football, like that bucket didn't have a chance of going in, so it's not goaltending. I meant to look it up. I'll look it up at the break or whatever, but that's just a weird one. Like, you were hanging on the rim. It's not goaltending, but here's a tech. I don't. Yeah. There were a few interesting ones.
Christian Wood just walking up to officials screaming in their face. You're letting Christian Wood scream in your face? Give him a tech.
Yeah.
D'Angelo Russell running over and clapping at people's faces.
Did you see the LeBron? D'Angelo Russell, was it Dennis he did that to, or was it RJ?
Yeah, it was Dennis.
He like is getting posted up and he clapped at him.
Actually.
Yeah.
He was going off with both of those guys.
Did you see LeBron's quote about Christian Wood after the game, by the way?
What did he say about Christian Wood?
He said, I'm paraphrasing here, but he was like, yeah, there's nothing that guy cares about but getting a bucket. And Christian Wood took it as like a compliment that like, I'm a bucket getter. I don't think that's how LeBron meant it. I think LeBron meant it like, yeah, that guy does not care about passing or defense. I tweeted last night, like, there's a reason that guy was the most dominant player in the G League for 4 years before he really got an NBA chance. Yeah. Because, how many G League guys are you asking to get a bucket?
Christian Wood is a bucket in the Toronto sense of the word. But anyway, you want to actually talk about the game? It's actually, you know what? Last thing, a super last thing. Evan Turner.
Come on, man.
Of all people to jump in, Evan Turner just randomly jumps in. And he was commenting on a video of Darko's rant, and his words were, "You got to let your assistant coaches do the rant when you, quote, have an accent." Like, really? And I'm happy Dennis jumped in.
This
and
is
said,
shame.
yeah, no, I'm happy Dennis jumped in because, like, on top of all this, like, not only are we getting screwed, but this random guy just comes in with a xenophobic comment. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? It is not funny at all.
No, it's not
any,
funny. It's not clever. It doesn't like make logical sense. Like,
yeah.
it's like, okay, like, are you gonna bust out a Borat impression next in 2024? What are we doing that like people like basketball is incredibly international. Like,
yeah.
people are gonna have accents. English is not everyone's first language.
You know what?
Get over
Honestly,
it, man.
Americans, man, you guys really only speak one language, and it shows.